In the electric heart of Tokyo, the air was thick with tension, history, and anticipation. The Korakuen Hall pulsed with adrenaline as fans from Nicaragua and Japan filled every inch of the arena, waving flags, chanting names, and holding their breath for what many believed would be a timeless clash of wills. One corner held a warrior, forged on the hard streets of Managua, a man whose humble beginnings blossomed into greatness. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, the quiet assassin of the lighter divisions, a three-division champion chasing immortality. His calm demeanor masked the storm beneath, a storm that had swallowed champions and crushed challengers with eerie consistency. In the opposite corner stood Akira Yaegashi, the embodiment of Japanese fighting spirit, a warrior whose heart beat in rhythm with every chant of his people. His face bore scars from past wars, his posture radiated pride, and his eyes promised resistance until the final breath. Under the bright lights, with the WBC Flyweight World Championship at stake, time seemed to freeze. It wasn't just a fight, it was fire versus faith, power versus pride, and the unmistakable scent of destiny filled the arena like smoke before a blaze. From the opening bell, Gonzalez moved like a surgeon, precise and composed, reading the rhythm of Yaegashi like a seasoned poet analyzing verse. The Nicaraguan star used subtle feints, testing distance, slipping jabs, and planting seeds of pressure with crisp right hands that tapped, not yet thundered. But Yaegashi was no ordinary champion. He met fire with bravery, stepping forward with combinations, hooks to the body, and short bursts of aggression that ignited the crowd. The exchanges were early warning signs. This wasn't going to be a quick execution. This would be a war. Chocolatito began to close the distance, his gloves like he was studying, calculating, absorbing data, discovering just how much heart beat inside Yaegashi's chest. The champion moved laterally, bounced on his feet, threw in flurries, but every time he touched Gonzalez, he received two in return. Gonzalez found his rhythm, and when a predator finds rhythm, danger follows. By the end of the first 2 rounds, Yaegashi's eyes were already puffy, his breathing heavy, but that warrior spirit did not flicker. By round 3, the crowd had realized something. Gonzalez wasn't just a puncher, he was an artist, and Yaegashi was the canvas. The Japanese champion charged forward with desperation-fueled flurries, determined to assert that this was his kingdom, his belt, his people. But Chocolatito stayed composed, slipping punches with sublime head movement, blocking with subtle shoulder rolls, and reloading with surgical counters. Snap, a stiff right hand ripped through Yaegashi's guard, followed by a left hook that snapped his head back like a tree in a storm. Still, Yaegashi held his ground, eyes fiery, refusing to break. The arena echoed with every solid shot Gonzalez landed. Yet with every gasp from the crowd came a roar of admiration for their champion. Yaegashi responded with warrior heart. He fired back, landing hooks to the body, jabs upstairs, desperate to keep the Nicaraguan off him. But Chocolatito smiled, a sign that he had tasted the best of Yaegashi and found it manageable. The storm was forming, and there was no shelter. In the final seconds of round 3, Gonzalez walked forward with controlled aggression, delivering thudding combinations that shook the Japanese champion from temple to rib. But still, he stood, defiant, proud, unbroken. In round 4, the tone shifted from battle to brutality. Gonzalez began to pour on the pressure, like a relentless tide swallowing a weakening shore. He no longer waited, he hunted. Left hooks to the body, right uppercuts through the guard, left hooks upstairs. The combinations were fluid, merciless, and executed with frightening precision. Yaegashi, brave as ever, refused to step back. The Japanese warrior traded in the center of the ring, his legs wobbling, but his heart roaring louder than his pain. The crowd was on fire, chanting his name, willing him to survive, to endure, to be more than just a chapter in Chocolatito's legacy. But Gonzalez showed why he was called one of the greatest lighter-weight fighters of all time. His footwork was effortless, his pressure suffocating, his timing flawless. With every passing second, Yaegashi's face transformed into a testament of war. Swollen eyes, red cheeks, and bruised ribs. Yet, he kept throwing, because that's what champions do. They don't drown quietly. They roar against the tide, until the tide consumes them. By round 5 and 6, Chocolatito was a maestro conducting violence in rhythm. Every punch had purpose. Every movement had meaning. Jab, hook, uppercut. He didn't just throw combinations. He painted with them. Yaegashi's spirit was unbreakable. But his body betrayed him more with every exchange. His legs slowed. His reaction faded. And his defense, once full of heart and effort, now opened like a door in the storm. Still, Yaegashi fought back, driven by pure pride. He landed a brave right hand, a desperate uppercut, but Gonzalez walked through them, answering with thunderous combinations. Boom! A left hook landed flush, forcing Yaegashi to stumble, but he somehow stayed up, held up not by strength, but by pure Japanese fighting spirit. The referee watched closely. The crowd screamed for their champion. But the storm was now a hurricane, and it was on schedule. Round 7 was a masterpiece of controlled destruction. Gonzalez unleashed combinations with frightening volume, piling on punches that seemed endless. Left hook, right uppercut, left to the body, right to the head. Over and over, like a drum beating the rhythm of defeat. Yaegashi wobbled, then steadied, then wobbled again, his heart fighting against gravity, his body begging for rest. But he wouldn't fall. He wouldn't bow. He stood against Gonzalez's storm, not because he could win, but because warriors don't retreat. The commentators gasped. The arena shook. Even Chocolatito, with his respectful demeanor, looked at Yaegashi not as prey, but as a warrior deserving of honor. Every punch from Gonzalez now echoed with inevitability, and every shot Yaegashi took screamed courage. By the end of round 7, Yaegashi's corner looked at him with worry, not because he was losing, but because he was suffering. Round 8 was agony. Pure, heroic, brutal agony. The ring center became a battlefield, and Chocolatito marched forward like an advancing army. His gloves were artillery, and Yaegashi had no shield left, only courage. The Nicaraguan star began unleashing combinations in relentless rhythm, trapping Yaegashi against the ropes. Bam! A brutal right hand landed flush, followed by a left hook that buckled Yaegashi's legs like collapsing pillars. The crowd held its breath. This might be it. But Yaegashi stumbled back, chin high, fists clenched, refusing to surrender. The referee looked, prepared to intervene, but Yaegashi threw a final desperate combination, winning the crowd's roar once more. But destiny had no mercy. Gonzalez smelled blood and with cold precision delivered punches with the accuracy of a sniper. Yaegashi navigated the storm with heart alone, but heart, no matter how mighty, cannot defy physics forever. The bell saved him, but only temporarily. Round 9 was the final chapter in the story of courage. Yaegashi came out swinging, battered but unbroken, fighting not with control, but with pure will. His face swollen, his body beaten, yet his spirit remained undimmed. But Gonzalez was a lion, and lions do not pity wounded lions. They finish them. He closed distance, cut the ring, and pinned the Japanese warrior against the ropes. Then boom, the right hand detonated like thunder. Followed by a ruthless left hook, Yaegashi fell, gracefully, courageously, heroically. He tried to stand, his heart demanded it, but his legs refused. The referee waved it off. It was over. Chocolatito raised his hands to the world, his legacy elevated. Yaegashi, still on one knee, looked up, not defeated, but immortalized. The arena rose, not for the winner, but for the warrior who refused to break. Two nations watched, two warriors embraced, and somewhere, in that ring in Tokyo, boxing reminded us why it is not just a sport, but poetry written in blood, heart, and glory.